Okay, today I'm going to show you how to get started on the selection tool practice, and we're going to be making what we are calling veggie heads. So in your module 2 material folder, you will find a folder that says topic 2 selection tool practice images for veggie heads, and you'll see these 3 files here. If you click on one of them, you'll kind of be able to kind of browse and see which one you want to start with. You might like the options on each one and want to download both. I also have a third page on here with just extra toppings for you. So to download these images, you're going to put your cursor over the image, right click, save image as. Doesn't matter where you put them, just pay attention where so you can find it again. So mine's in downloads. I'm going to go ahead and just save all 3 so I have them. And then I'm going to open my Photoshop app. And I don't need to create a document. Right now I'm just going to hit open. I'm going to open those images that I downloaded. And you'll notice that these images are opening in multiple tabs. So you're going to pick a base to work on and then build on there. I'm going to go ahead and start on the mango here, and then I might pull items from both of the other tabs. But what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be starting practice with our selection tools. So what I want to tell you is that there is no right or wrong. You are literally going to be building a face using all the options that are provided for you, and you're going to use the selection tools to do so. Your selection tools are here at the top. It's these 4 in your toolbox. If you by chance do not have a toolbox visible, go up to Window and come all the way down to where it says Tools. There's a check next to mine because mine is open. The other things I want you to make sure you have are your layers and your history. Your history is going to record all the steps that you take so you can step back easily. And your layers are going to be important because that's going to show you what you're working with. I want you to start by unlocking the layer that you're working on. So come over to the layer box and just click once on that combination lock that's there. And you'll notice the title changes from background to layer 0. That tells you are ready to get started. I'm going to start by selecting something for the eyes for my mango. And I think these avocados make a really good eye. So I'm going to show you how all the selection tools work in the next video, and we'll get started there. This is part 2 of the veggie head video. We already have our desktop set up. And now we're going to start dabbling in the selection tools. The very first tool you're going to see is the move tool. We'll come back to that. Secondly, you're going to see the marquee tool. You'll notice when I let my mouse rest here, a little window will pop up to show you what that tool is. You'll also notice these little tiny triangles in the bottom corner. That indicates that if you click and hold, you will find other tools underneath. So the marquee tool is really great when you're just selecting something general and want to move it. The only problem with the marquee tool is it works in a square. So it's not going to give us an accurate selection of an object, and it's going to carry that background with it. So the marquee tool is maybe not necessarily the best tool for this exercise. We're going to focus in these 2 tools here. The lasso tool, there's 3 different lasso tools. The first one's just pretty straightforward. You're going to click and drag. Again, it lacks accuracy. It's just going to basically trace the circle that you tell it to. And I'm doing that by just clicking my mouse and dragging. The second lasso tool is the polygonal lasso. This one you notice has pointed edges on the tool. This is really nice. I like to call this the connect the dot lasso because you click once and it anchors your point. So it's kind of nice if you have to get pretty accurate, but you'll notice that the lines are pretty straight. So it's great when you're working with geometric figures that are like polygons, squares, rectangles. You're going to get jagged edges if you try to select a circular object with it. So again, maybe not the best for these organic shapes. And then the third one's the magnetic lasso. You might find that you like this one because it kind of clings to the edge. So I click once and I just kind of move my mouse. I'm not clicking, I'm just dragging the mouse. And it smartly is finding the edge of the object that I want to select. So if I get all the way back here, now my potato is selected. I originally wanted to select the avocado, so I'm going to go ahead and switch gears and use a magnetic lasso for that. And again, I just clicked one time and I'm dragging my mouse around. And then right when I get to the beginning, again, that little circle pops up on my tool. So I'm going to click once and that tells me it's completed. Now, this is the point where we can use the move tool in our toolbox to click and drag and move our object into place. But I'm going to tell you to hold off on that. What I want you to get in the practice of doing when you select something is to copy and paste it. So I'm going to go to Edit at the top and hit Copy. If you're working on a Mac, you can use the shortcut listed here, which is Command C, or on a PC, it's Control C to copy. And then I'm just going to go back to Edit and Paste. Again, that's Command or Control V, depending on what platform you're on. Watch what happens when I hit Paste. You might not have noticed, but in your layer box over here, we now have a layer 1. When I use my move tool to move, I am moving the avocado now, and it's on its own layer. I can double click on layer 1 and type in avocado. And that, now I can put that in place. Now, I kind of want to use that avocado again for the second, so I'm just going to go ahead and paste again, and it's going to give me a second avocado and another layer. So I'm going to name that one Avocado 2. Now, the only problem here is that I want to flip this around. So the other process we're going to learn today is called the free transform. So I'm going to edit free transform. What this is going to do, it's going to put a selection around my box. It will let me change the size if I want to drag the boxes, and it locks the proportions, which is lovely. Or I can move my mouse to the outside, and I can get this little curved arrow. You can see how it curves outside the corner. And I'm going to click and drag and rotate. And now my avocado is kind of pointing and a little bit more symmetrical on each side. Now I want to pick my next object. In order to do that, I now have my avocado layers. All the other images exist on layer 0. So I'm going to click down on layer 0. And I'm going to pick something for the nose. And I think the potato might be good for the nose. Instead of using the magnetic lasso, I'm going to come over here to the magic wand tool. And I'm going to click and hold and see all the selection tools under here. And we're going to use this for the next step. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this to the next video now. All right, part 3 of this video, we're going to look at the next group of selection tools. And this is the magic wand, quick selection, and object selection. We're on part 3 of the Veggie Head video, and we're going to be looking at our last group of selection tools, which is object selection, quick selection, and magic wand. Magic wand, I will tell you, is one of my favorite tools, but for this exercise, it's not the best. This works really great when selecting something of a solid color. So since I'm on my background layer, if I click around the potato, just click the outside, it's going to do a very good job at selecting the background because it's a solid color. If I try to just select the potato, it's going to select just areas of light colors. And that's not really what I want it to do. I want something that's going to select the whole object. So I'm going to move on to a different selection tool. And I'm going to try object selection. So object selection is really nice because you can just drag a square around your object and then the computer will smartly find that boundary. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste my potato. And then now I have another layer. I'm going to name it potato just so I can keep it straight because I'm going to have lots of layers. And then I'm going to click and drag this over. It's a little big, so I'm going to go to Edit, Free Transform. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And I'm also going to turn it upside down. And that's going to be my nose for now. Object selection we can use again. Let's see if we do it on the blueberry. Click around that. I'm going to copy and paste. And I'm going, now you'll notice here that this came underneath the avocado when I dragged it over. It just pasted in a different order. That's this layer here. So I'm going to go ahead and name it blueberry. And all I have to do to make this go in front of the avocado is click on the blueberry layer. You'll notice it grabs it, and then I can bring it up and drop it above the avocado. I'm going to go ahead and go to Edit, Free Transform. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. I'm going to make these the eyes. So now that I have this, instead of hitting paste again since I made it smaller, I'm going to go ahead and copy the blueberry and paste it and drag that over. All right. The next tool I want to show you is the quick selection tool, or the last tool. So I'm going to click on this one. You'll notice when I click on these that this top control option bar changes because it has special further selection for each tool that'll help you kind of fine tune how it works. So when I click quick selection, this is what's important is up here. You'll see a plus, a minus, and a little circle with a number. This circle with the number is the brush size. So if I make the size bigger, I will see that reflected on my cursor. And then I can choose the plus or minus, meaning select or deselect. So let's go back to our background layer. I'm going to try to select these mint leaves. And I'm going to click. And when I click once, you see that it got some of the leaves. So I'm just going to keep clicking. What's nice about this is it just adds to the selection because I'm on the plus. Now, if it selects something I don't want, I go back up here to the minus and click on that, and it'll deselect. And what you're looking for is this moving dotted line. We call those marching ants. So I'm going to come back and select this. And now it's selected too much. I'm going to try that again. Go to the minus and try to bring that in, reel it in. I'm just clicking and dragging. All right. Now I'm going to copy and paste and use my move tool to move that over. And that'll be the start of my hair. Now I did have some other objects on the other documents that I downloaded. So I'm going to go ahead and browse over there and see if there's something else I might want to use for a mouth or anything else in the hair. And right now, looking at these two, I think I'm going to go ahead and select the banana on here. So I'm going to come to the background and unlock. And I'm going to go ahead and use the object selection tool for this. And I'm going to click and drag a square around the banana. It's selected. So I'm going to copy. Instead of hitting paste on here, I'm going to jump to my other tab to the mango head and hit paste. And here's that banana. I need to free transform. First thing I'll do, whoops, is make it a little bigger and then rotate. You might notice as you change the size and free transform, you get a little pixelation. That's just the computer recalculating the pixels. So once you hit enter or return on your keyboard, it should be fine again. Put that here. Now I'm going to look for something that's good for ears. I think I'm going to use this grapefruit over here. So again, I'm going to unlock my background. I'm going to use my object selection tool to click and drag a square. Copy. Paste. I'm going to edit, free transform. Bring that in. I'm going to drag this. Let me think. Actually, I'll just slide it up here. I'm going to hit this little arrow here to collapse my layers so I can see the other side and hit paste again and free transform. And this time I'm going to rotate it the other way. Bring this over here. Now I could keep adding accessories, but for the sake of the demo, I'm going to end this here. So once you're all the way finished, you're going to find the crop tool in your toolbox. It's these two right angles. And you're going to bring this in so it's just your head that's visible. And then you can hit return or hit this check mark up here. And then I'm going to go ahead and save this. So I'm going to go to File, Save As. Now, typically, if we're working on something from day to day or need to take a break, we're going to leave the format as a Photoshop format. That will save all of our layers. Because I'm finished, I'm going to click Save a Copy. And in the format, I'm going to look for JPEG, JPEG. That's going to squash all my layers. They won't be acceptable anymore. Won't be editable anymore, I should have said. And then I'm going to change this to Mango Head Finished. It's in my downloads, so I'll know where to find it. And then I'm going to come over to Schoology. Sorry, not Schoology. I'm going to come to my Google Slide art journal and put that in the page that corresponds to this assignment.